everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So first things first, yes, I am filming in a slightly different spot of my bedroom here. Instead of filming at my YouTube wall, I'm filming at my little podcast corner, and the real reason for that is because I have not taken down my Christmas decor yet. So this is the only corner of my room that is not decorated throughout the entire year and will remain that way. So this is just like the quickest little spot, and you guys haven't seen me sit beside my son yet, just solo by myself in a video. So I thought, why not switch it up? Now, hopping on into the actual title of this video, I am so excited to share what my New Year's resolutions / goals are. I have done these types of videos for the past few years. I want to say since 2017. I actually have a playlist, which I will try to link in the description box. If not, you can just go to my channel page and go to playlists, and it will have New Year's goals and resolutions and stuff like that as one playlist, and you can kind of filter through how I've changed throughout the years and what kind of goals I've set since then and have changed till now. My most recent New Year's and resolutions video was the 2019 one, obviously Clarissa, and I will link that right here. If you've noticed, the video is kind of lengthy, and it is so lengthy because my list was pretty long. This year I have decided to condense it, make it more goal focused, and I think it's much more attainable because it's more specific and I can fully focus on just giving a shorter list more attention as opposed to a longer list that just writing a bunch of random things and some things that aren't even as important as others. So this list is specific, exactly what I want to do for 2020, and I'm here to share it with you. So when setting goals and resolutions, you should go by the acronym SMART, and this isn't only for setting New Year's resolutions. Businesses even do this. So S stands for specific, and under that category it lists state what you'll do, and then the other point is use action words. I'm happy my boyfriend had sent me this little acronym to kind of bring myself back down and not keep my goals so general, because I have a tendency in doing so. Instead of saying I'm gonna eat healthier this year, which isn't one of my goals, what's something more specific I can say with that statement? So an example for that that's more specific is, I'm gonna cut out drinking pop 3 to 4 times a week, every single week of the year of 2020. The next letter is M, so it's measurable. One of the points is provide a way to evaluate, and then another point is use metrics or data targets. So a good example for this would be my YouTube channel, for example. If I want to hit a certain amount of subscribers and hadn't got to that point yet, I can kind of go through my analytics, see where the numbers are spiking and where they're not, what's trending out of my videos and what's not, and kind of go based on those numbers to see what I need to film more of to gain more traction and attention. The next letter is achievable, and the first point with that one is within your scope. So a specific example using the S would be, I want to make $1 million this year. You need to remember where you are and what you're doing and in your career path and what makes sense and seems realistic. I think that would be my interpretation of this category. So it goes along with the second point being possible to accomplish, attainable. The next letter is relevant. So a point under this is it makes sense within your job function. And the other point is improves the business in some way. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the achievable points that I had just mentioned. And the last letter is T, which is time bound. So one of the points is to state when you'll get it done. And then another point is be specific on data or time frame. So if I say that I want to read 12 books this year, that would in a time frame to me be typically 1 book per month. So hopefully that gave you guys a little bit of a better understanding, so when I dive into my points, you can almost kind of keep me accountable and see if mine match the little acronym of SMART. This is my new planner for the year of 2020. It's also like my agenda, so it has, a calendar in it for each month, has my dates of when I'm gonna record podcasts with certain guests, when I have appointments, when I have work, when I have to-do lists that I need to write down. Everything goes in here, and this is what I look at on a daily basis pretty often, and I'm constantly making checklists. So at the very beginning of my planner, it has yearly goals, which I thought was so appropriate. I'm just gonna cover my address here, but in my colorful writing, for me, it's pleasing to the eye to see, and it helps break it up for me to see it in categories and color separation. I've been using colored pens and pencils since I was a little kid, so this is just another little pleasure in life that I also just enjoy doing. So I categorized it out based on some of the categories I had used last year, and then I also just used some general categories as well. So I had actually used a template from last year, and I used the template categories and recorded that in my planner last year. So I took some of those categories and reused them, and then there's some that I took out that I just didn't see made sense or appropriate to what I was kind of writing down or fit into the categories properly. I felt like I was trying to come up with points just to fit into the category, and this is totally up to you and how you want to do it. So I just scratched some of those out because they just didn't fit. So my goals are on one sheet of paper in here, back and front, so it's super easy to flip through and not feel like the longest list in the world. So the first category is places to travel. Now I want to average at least one trip every single year for myself, and my boyfriend would usually come with me for that as well. So this year we have made it a point to go to Whistler, and we actually have already booked the trip entirely. We are going in February, so that is happening. The next category I put is books to read. Now last year I had listed like 4 or 5, and I did not read a single one of them. I just didn't make the time. So this year I wrote the exact same point, but I want to be able to make more time to read all those books that I said I'd read last year, this year. So to be specific, using the S, giving myself a specific number to hit, I put down read 7 books within the year. So one of them being the Elon Musk book. I already own it, but I've only read a chapter, so I'm not very far along with it, and I have been kind of dragging it out, but that will be the first one that I read of this year. The next point is under this column, but it's not about books, but it is to research more on what I'm not knowledgeable enough about. So a more specific example would be, in the past, I've heard that different foods affect your body on the outside and can affect your skin. So I'll give you a specific example. Back in high school, I remember a girl ate really, really poorly, and the next day she would come to class and she's like, oh, I ate so much junk food last night. That's why my skin is breaking out. And I fully just believed her. But honestly, I had never done enough research on my own, and with the internet nowadays, you can find so many articles to fact check so many things that that's something that I want to be able to do more. So I need to make a priority to researching things that I feel like I need to brush up on. My next category is financial goals. Now, last year, I actually didn't put anything under this category, but this year is a different story. So now that I'm fully out of school and I am debt-free, I have, the money I make and then some money to play with and some money to save. So with all that being said, I have some more specific goals that I wanted to make for myself for the year of 2020. So at first I put a very general point, and that point was being set up a bank account that makes interest and learn more about stocks, a basic understanding. Now, a more specific point to that point I wrote down was put 50% of my savings account into a stock account. And then the follow-up point to that one would be resave the 50% that I had put into the stocks account and add another 25%. So for example, if I had $10,000 in my savings account and I took out 5 to put into the stock account, in my savings account, I would need to put back another 5 grand throughout the entire year of 2020 to put that back up to 10K. And then I would also, in addition, put $2,500 into that savings account. So in total, it would be $12,500 in my savings account by the end of 2020. I hope that was clear. I didn't want to be too specific with numbers just because I don't want to announce all of the money I have in each of my accounts on camera. This next point is a little bit general, but it's under the category of habits to break. And for this one, I put to not fill my plate up so much. And by this, I mean I make very long task lists for myself on a daily basis, and I find that I get frustrated when I don't hit all of those tasks. So I need to start prioritizing them and divvying them out more across the days of the week, as opposed to being like, okay, I have Monday off, so I'm gonna do 20 things on Monday, which maybe I should do like 8 to 10 and spread out the rest of those maybe for the month, because they don't need to all get done on the Monday. The next category is the health and fitness category, and I'm gonna start with the general point and then I'm gonna get into some specifics. So the general point is to have a better relationship with food and keep myself a little bit more in check of what I'm eating on a day-to-day basis. I don't have the best food regulation and the relationship with food in general. So I wanna get better at listening to my mind when it comes to hunger cues and not just binging and eating random things because they're around me and I can. So all in all, I just want to have some better food control. Now I'm going to get into some numbers. So there are certain numbers I want to hit on bench, squat, deadlift, and hip thrust this year. Now my boyfriend and I both came up with this for myself. We came up with a conservative number and then we came up with a non-conservative number. The only reason why I have a conservative number is because my brain obviously likes to psych me out and tell me that I can't lift more than that, but I know physically I actually could potentially lift more than that, but I'm letting my brain stop that. So the conservative number for bench we put down was 115 pounds, and then the non-conservative number we put down was 135 pounds. Now moving on to hip thrust, I just recently hit 315 pounds a few days ago, which was actually my 1 rep max goal for 2019. So I kind of did surpass that because I was able to do multiple sets and reps of that. So my conservative number for hip thrust this year is 375 pounds, and then my non-conservative number is 400 pounds. Now moving on to deadlifts. My conservative number for deadlifts would be 205 pounds, and my non-conservative number for deadlifts would be 225 pounds. Now moving on to what I would like to claim my weakest compound movement is squats. I have struggled with squats a little bit because of my knees, and my left hip sometimes gets a little aggravated when I do certain movements, but my knee sleeves have come in so handy. I've been really able to help push me to lift more and be comfortable while doing so without my knees buckling or hurting or any achy pains after the workout. So my conservative number for this one would be 200 pounds, and my non-conservative number would be 215 pounds. Staying within the health and fitness category, I want to do hot yoga at least once a month. This was a point I had added to my 2019 list last year, and I wasn't able to complete it. I was pretty bummed and frustrated at myself because I know I could have, but I didn't prioritize it. So this year it's happening. I've already signed up for my first class for January, so I just need to keep pushing and make sure I make a mental note to be able to go at least once a month. And then the next point is make more use of our pool in the summer. Now in Canada, we don't get many beautiful summer months. We have 2 summer months, possibly 3, and that doesn't give you obviously enough time to be able to take full advantage of using the pool when you have a busy schedule. So no more excuses. I want to make more time for it. It's gonna be hard for me to set amount of times to use the pool, but I'm gonna say once a week. Use the pool at least once a week. So in total, that's 8 times this summer. The next point is under YouTube, and I want to attain monetization. This is a huge one for me because way back when I used to be monetized a few years ago, and then I became unmonetized because of the way YouTube had rejigged their whole system. So I was grinding pretty hard for the second half of year of 2019 to be able to push and get my monetization back. I gotta push a little bit more, and then hopefully I will have my monetization by the end of the year 2020. The next point to YouTube is to upload at least twice a week, and I did a pretty good job at doing so in 2019, but I want to do an even better job because there were some weeks that I did let slip and I didn't upload as much as I wanted to, so I really need to make a point of doing that this year. For the podcast category, I want to be able to upload a podcast at least every other week. And last but not least, we have my last category, which is just general. And the first point I put on this one is to work more award shows. Now I know this one's very general, so I put in brackets at least 1 award show this year. My second point, I put keep my relationships with people in the media industry alive. And the last general goal that I had written down was to not be so influenced. In this day and age, I find it very difficult to not be influenced. You see so much on social media, and there's so many days where you're just countlessly scrolling. I can thankfully say I'm not scrolling as often as I did a couple years ago, and honestly that really has helped my mental sanity. But of course there are still things out there that you're like, oh, I'm not good enough. This person's surpassing this level of success and I'm only here. Same with trends and fashion. Just because everybody has the Gucci belt doesn't mean you need to get the Gucci belt. I know those may not seem like the biggest examples, but I just want to make a note for myself to keep myself grounded, think about my own opinions as well when it comes to being influenced and, standing my ground. Those were all my goals and resolutions for 2020. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring because I know it's just a sitting talking head video, but I did want to put this out into the world, and I want to know some of your guys' New Year's resolutions and goals. So don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to my channel, the notification bell, and the thumbs up button, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy New Year and happy 2020. Bye.